Today I'm going to show you guys my best build for Valkyr. Now, this is my personal best build, okay? This isn't the in-all be-all best build, okay? I want to keep you to keep that in mind, okay? I'm going to be going over Valkyr Prime, the build I have for her exactly, the talents, even down to the Archon shards I have for her, and I'll even show you guys my incomplete Prisma Skana build, okay? It's incomplete, but I want to show you guys it because Prisma Skana is probably the weapon I use with Valkyr the most. I know it's shocking that it's a melee weapon because, sometimes the enemy knocks you out of hysteria, and I like that whole surprise. I'm even strong when I'm not in hysteria mode type thing. So, you know what? Let's get to it. I, of course, had to hide myself so I can show you guys the Archon shards. Okay, we have the Talford Amber Archon shards. I use these for maximum energy field. Okay, because you want maximum energy on spawn for this build so you can stay in hysteria indefinitely due to Valkyr Prime talents. We'll go over that more lately. If you so wish. We have the ability strength here and then the armor. Like I said, I use these personally, but if you wanted to focus on a pure Valkyr Hysteria build, rather, you would probably want to use Violet Archon shards. I've actually have had a few people mention that, and it is worth noting that that is the correct way to go if you want a pure hysteria, because hysteria goes by melee. So if you want pure hysteria build for maximum efficiency, Violet Archon shard for melee specifically bonus instead of just ability strength in general will be your best bet. But I have this here just because I'll be honest, I don't like rebuilding stuff for particular situations. I kind of like a whole set it and forget it type mentality when I'm making a build. So keep that in mind as you see my whole build, okay? So then we have the Talfort Azure Archon Shard for armor, just because normally on most of my frames I put health regen, but as long as you do any damage with Hysteria with Valkyr, you're getting health regen. So I figured that no point in adding health regen to Valkyr. Then, of course, we have Still Charge, which Still Charge is a bit outdated, I will admit. There are stuff that, like even corrosive projection, might be slightly more efficient. And, there are more stuff that has grown to be a bit more efficient when it comes to melee, such things, and comboing and all that jazz. Actually, fun fact, I used to know someone who he loved meleeing specifically. So he would do all the, combo counter, combo duration, all that stuff to get an insane amount of red crits on everything for every build type thing. And that is a perfectly valid build. But again, I like my build to be kind of an all-arounder, if you will. All-arounder, jack of all trades type thing, in which is why I also have aqua blades on this build, just because I think it's a fun idea having her aqua blades go around you while you're in hysteria, because yes, you can reactivate aqua blades while you're in hysteria. Fun fact. And it also helps break some of the caches around me and defeats the lower enemies around me. And sometimes even if I don't see the enemies, it still damages them at least a little bit. Then I see the damage numbers pop up. But I digress. Back to the build. We have Hysterical Assault, which is not needed. I just like it personally. Same with Eternal War. Not needed. I just like it personally. I barely use both of them. I think I use Hysterical Assault more than Eternal War. I kind of forget I have it most of the time. And then we have Adaption, because I like the idea of Valkyr being a tank sometimes. Equilibrium, just because I like the idea of equilibrium. Now, it's worth noting that if you want to actually get full on the best of the best, your best bet might be Hunter Adrenaline, since it converts 45% of damage on health to energy without shields. Ally, Overguard. Yeah, okay. So, see, this is technically probably your best bet, but I like Equilibrium better. Just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just a personal preference. But, yeah, if you're wanting mid-max, Hunter Adrenaline, probably your best bet, okay? And can I say that Umbral Fiber, Umbral Vitality, and Umbral Intensify, it's probably overkill to have all three of them on this build. You're probably okay with just Umbral Fiber and Umbral Vitality. Although, with that said, having all three of them means you'll get the max amount of health, the max amount of armor, and the max amount of strength, and the max amount of energy, thanks to Arcane Battery. Okay, Arcane Battery is amazing. 0.30 maximum energy per armor point might not sound like a lot until you see that it's up to 1,000. Okay, so yeah, it's up to 1,000. So yeah, we have a ridiculous amount of armor, so we gain a ridiculous amount of energy. Actually, we probably have more armor than energy we gain, but hey, it's not bad to have armor, especially since armor has gotten better in this game than it used to. So if you're coming back after not playing for a long while, keep in mind that armor is better than it used to be. And Arcane Blessing is a personal preference. There are better arcanes out there for you. Yeah, there are technically way better arcanes out there for you than Arcane Blessing, especially for a melee focused build, if that's what you're going for. But I personally just like Arcane Blessing. It falls into that whole set it and forget it type mentality of the build. And now let's get into the talents, okay? The Valkyr Prime talents. Yes, these right here, her exalted weapon that she has when she goes into hysteria. Okay, now it's worth noting you can put whatever element you want here. Okay, I chose gas just because for an all-arounder build, gas and viral are usually my go-to for all-around, because I believe a lot of Grenier ends up being weak to gas. Gas, thanks to their alloy armor, and I just like it in general. It's because I face a lot more Grenier personally, but I do face Corpus too, so I don't know. It's a good all-arounder. Anyway, we also have this, which is melee animosity. required melee arcane adapter, which we have obviously. And then I don't have it maxed out. I have it nowhere near maxed out. But if you do get maxed out, it will be on melee hit, gain 42% critical chance on your next heavy attack, up to 420%. Right now, I only have 28% critical chance on my next heavy attack, up to 280%, which is still very powerful. And Hysteria does have a heavy attack, okay? So keep that in mind. Hysteria does have a heavy attack. This is here just because, honestly, you can replace it with anything. I feel like a lot of my Talon mods can just be replaced. Now, I did choose Pressure Point over Sacrificial Pressure. It's worth noting. I probably could get a little bit more critical chance. I could get a little bit more critical chance. What's funny is this does more for sentient damage as well. So it's funny because we're getting a new expansion in the future as of recording this that is sentient focused content. So that's pretty cool. That build will be kind of ready to go against that Prime Reach just because I like the idea of Reach. Now, Prime Reach did get a nerf back in the day. Regular Reach also got a nerf, but especially Primed Reach because that's what they go off when they nerf stuff, the highest form of that. Well, right now anyway. And then we have Prime Fury just because I like the idea of fast attacking. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure how much of a difference it makes with the Hysteria fast attacking, but I do like it. And then Gladiator Might for critical damage, and then Organ Shatter for critical strength. I mean, critical chance. Yeah, strength. So as you see, we have 160% critical chance, and it stacks up to 5 times the damage. And these are numbers right here for the regular attacks, the damage, and what have you. So these are the number. Tenakai chance, and like I said, the arcane hair increases the heavy. Oh yeah, we use heavy Hysteria attacks for this. Man, I'm rambling. Okay, we have one more weapon to get through to look at, which I said I'd show you guys the Prisma Skana. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. If you guys enjoy these kinds of videos where I go over like full into detail, like my builds, loadout and stuff, I can make more of them if that's what you guys want. But I digress. Back to this build. I said it was an incomplete build because it is incomplete. Okay. We have Prime Fury. You sense a theme with that. I got lucky with this ribbon. It's the exact ribbon I want because, see, this has way over 100 critical chance. So, critical chance, critical damage. So this is basically red crits for days. The weapon, sacrificial steel, sacrificial pressure made more sense to me in this particular case than pressure point, even though pressure point arguably would have been more damage. But yeah. And then we have focus, radion, just because I wanted the radiation. Gladiator might, and between you and me, the last one I put here, even though it could be a number of things, I'd probably opt for either primed fever strike or heat damage. Okay. Yeah. Prime Fever Strike or heat damage, just so I can either get that toxin or heat, because in my opinion, those are some of the more powerful single elements in the game. Okay, so yeah, there we go with that, and that is everything. Yeah, I think that is everything. Oh, yeah, wait, there's one more thing. One more thing, as I may say. I'll have to hide myself once again for this. I gotta show you guys because the Prisma Skana, I have an arcane adapter on it. So as you can see, I'm gonna hover over these real quick. These are the paths that I've chosen for all of these. Okay, so yeah, and that is everything.